Good morning, dear students. So, in this class, we are going to study pteridophytes, the general characters of pteridophytes. So, in your syllabus, you are having algae, fungi, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, and paleobotany. So, in this class, we are going to study general characters of pteridophytes and where you find pteridophytes. So first, what do you mean by pteridophyta? The name indicates pteron, nothing but a feather, phyton, plant. So the plant body will be feather-like plant. The name was originally given to those group of plants which have well-developed pinnate or a frond-like leaves, nothing but a feather-like leaves. Pteridophytes are cryptogamous, nothing but a hidden, and a gamos, nothing but weeded, which are well developed vascular tissues. Cryptogamous, nothing but a spore producing organ. The reproduction occurs by spores. So that type of plant we call as a cryptogamous and which have well developed vascular tissues. Therefore these plants are also known as vascular cryptogamous or snakes of a plant kingdom. So it is very important that these pteridophytes are called as a vascular cryptogamous or a snake of a plant kingdom. They are represented by about 400 living and fossil genera and some 10,500 species here. So while studying paleobotany, you have come across a geological time scale. There you study type of periods, eras, epochs. So here paleobotanical study revealed that these plants were dominant on the earth during Devonian period and originated about 400 million years ago only. Pteridophytes are originated 400 million years ago only in the Devonian period, right? So general characters, now comes general characters of pteridophytes. Majority of the living pteridophytes are terrestrial, nothing but they live in a land, and some are epiphytic, xerophytic. So here, and they grow in a cool, moist and shady places, right? So example, ferns. Ferns are terrestrial pteridophytes and some are aquatic like Marsilia and Azolla, which live in a moist or a water places. Next, xerophytic. Example, Selaginella and Equisetum, and some are epiphytic also like a Lycopodium. Example, majority of the pteridophytes are herbaceous, but few are perennial and tree-like. So those almost are herbaceous, but few are a tree or a perennial like. Smallest pteridophyte is a Azolla, which live in a aquatic, and the largest one is a Cyanthiae, which is a tree fern, which is the largest, which look like a tree. That's a Cyanthiae, and the smallest one is a Azolla. Plant body is sporophytic and can be differentiated into root, stem and leaves. So here we call a thallus in some examples, nothing but in bryophyte we call a plant body as a thallus, nothing but it is not differentiated into root, stem, leaves, but we call sporophytic plant body which is differentiated into root, stem and leaves. So here you can see the smallest pteridophyte and largest pteridophyte. Smallest pteridophyte is aquatic, you can see here, which is present in water, Azolla it is, and it is a Cyanthiae. It is a tree-like pteridophyte. So roots are advantageous in nature with a monopodial or dichotomous branching. Here roots are having dichotomous branching, and stem also same. They are branched, and that branching is a monopodial or a dichotomous. While studying example, you will study this in detail, but they do not arise in the axil of leaves. The stem will not arise from the axil of the leaves. Leaves may be small, thinny and scaly in equisetum. In the example equisetum, the leaves are small, thinny, but in some are simple and sessile. Example Selaginella. In some they are large and pinnately compound. Example Adiantum. In Adiantum the leaves are large and pinnately compound, and in some Selaginella they are simple and sessile. In Equisetum they are thin, small and scaly. While studying these examples you will understand how the arrangement of leaves will be there. So vascular tissue is present in the stem and root. In both you find a well developed vascular system, nothing but a xylem and a phloem, water conducting tissue and a food conducting tissue. Xylem consists of tracheids only. So here in pteridophytes xylem consists only tracheids. There is no tracheae, xylem, parenchyma, right. So next in phloem it is only having sieve tube. There is absence of companion cell, phloem, parenchyma. So only here in pteridophytes phloem consists of sieve tubes. So the stele is protostele, siphonostele, dictyostele or a polycyclic. Nothing but the stellar region is different in different examples, and here cambium is absent, hence they don't show secondary growth. Next comes reproduction, very important in studying the characters. So reproduction take place by means of spores which produce inside the sporangia. I already told you these are a vascular cryptogamous plants. Cryptogamous, nothing but the plants are produced by spores, and that spores are produced inside the special structure called sporangia. The development of sporangia may be leptosporangiate or a eusporangiate. Leptosporangiate, nothing but the sporangia originate from a single cell, or a eusporangiate. The sporangium develops from a group of cells. The sporangia may be born either on a stem or a leaves. The sporangia may be develop on a stem in some example, and they may be develop on a leaves in some other examples. On stem they may be terminal or lateral. In Rhynia, that is a extinct pteridophyte. Rhynia is a extinct, that is not found now. In that the sporangia is developed in the terminal region of the stem, and in Lycopodium the sporangia is developed on the lateral side of the stem. On the leaves they may be ventral, marginal or dorsal. They may be present on ventral side or dorsal side or in the marginal. So in Equisetum the sporangia are born on a special structure called sporangiophores. So though nothing but in a Equisetum, while going to study example of the Equisetum, that time you are going to study the special structure called as a sporangiophore, which constitute a cone. In that you find a sporangia or a sporangiophores. So in Marsilia or Azolla, sporangia are produced in a sporocarp. That is again a different structure. We call it as a sporocarp, where sporangia are produced. Spores on germination gives rise to multicellular gametophytic plant body called prothalli. Gametophytic plant body, nothing but there you won't differentiated into root, stem and leaves. So it is a before sporophytic generation, the plant body will spore germinate and gives rise to multicellular, many number of cells. That's nothing but a prothalli. In homospores, pteridophyte prothalli are monoecious. In a homospores, nothing but a same spores. When there will be a same spores, then those are a monoecious, nothing but Antheridia and Archegonia develop on the same prothalli, same gametophytic body. Next, heterospores. species where prothalli are always dioecious. Name indicates di, nothing but two, different. So here in a heterospores, the Antheridia and Archegonia develop on a different plant body, nothing but different prothalli. Microspores on germination gives rise to male prothalli and megaspores to form female prothalli. So in a heterospores or homospores, the Antheridia which contain microspores gives rise to male prothalli and a megaspores Archegonia which again gives rise to a female prothalli. Antheridia and Archegonia develop on a prothalli. So Antheridium is surrounded by single layered sterile jacket. Antheridium nothing but a male reproductive organ which is surrounded by a single layered sterile jacket, while Archegonium consists of four types of cells here. One is a ventral row of neck canal cell, or a 2 to 3 neck canal cell, ventral cell and a egg cell. So again while studying example you study this in a detail. Anthrozoids are a unicellular biflagellate or a multiflagellate and they are motile, nothing but a male reproductive organ. So here anthrozoids are unicellular biflagellate or multiflagellated and are motile. So in some example like Selaginella, the anthrozoids are biflagellated. In Equisetum or ferns, they are multiflagellated and they are motile, means they move to reach the egg for a fertilization. So here next, anthrozoids are attached towards the neck of the Archegonium. Anthrozoids attached to the neck cell of the Archegonium by certain substance. For the attachment, they secrete a certain substance like malic acid present in a mucilaginous substance formed by the degeneration of neck canal cell and ventral canal cell. Where the neck canal cell and ventral canal cells are present in the Archegonium, while they degenerating, they secrete a mucilaginous substance like malic acid which will help for the attachment of the anthrozoids. And here for fertilization water is essential. That's why this condition we call it as a zooidogamous. So that therefore pteridophytes are also known as amphibians of the plant kingdom. Very important point. Pteridophytes are also known as amphibians of a plant kingdom because here water is essential for fertilization. So fertilization results in the formation of zygote or oospores which ultimately develop into well-developed sporophyte. So after fertilization, the zygote or oospore which later develop into a sporophytic plant body which is nothing but which develop into root, stem and leaves here. So fertilized egg divides transversely or vertically and form into two cells. Again in that two cells the cross wall forms a quadrant stage, nothing but a 4-celled stage. Those 4 cells also further develop into a new plant organ. It may be stem, leaves, foot and a root. So those each single cell in a quadrant stage develop into stem, leaf, foot and a root. So plants show heteromorphic alteration of generation. The main plant body is sporophytic and forms a dominant phase in the life cycle. Here you find both phases, gametophytic and sporophytic here. But here sporophytic is a dominant phase in the life cycle of the pteridophytes. So here both phases are present. That's why there are heteromorphic alternation of generation. So these are the some important points of pteridophytes. In the next class we are going to study classification of pteridophytes and later example studies of the pteridophytes. So, thank you.